China blocks Philippine ships anew in the West Philippine Sea amid a resupply mission to the Ayungin Shoal. The remains of Loretta Alacre, the OFW who was killed by Hamas in Israel, have been brought home to Cadiz, Negros Occidental. And the Interior Department warns Barangay and SK candidates not to use government social aid for their campaigns. Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's a roundup of stories we're watching now. I'm Dani Laurel. The National Task Force for the West Philippine Sea says China made dangerous blocking maneuvers against Philippine ships during a resupply mission this morning. Now, this comes after China Coast Guard issued a news alert on its website claiming it lawfully blocked Philippine vessels. The CCG claimed that the vessels were delivering, quote, illegal construction materials to what it described as illegally grounded warship on Ayungin. They defended their actions, saying Philippine vessels Uniza May 2 sailed at the bow of ACCG ship on purpose despite repeated warnings, and that their response was professional, legitimate, and lawful. The CCG added that the responsibility for the incident lies with the Philippines. The NTFWPS said the CCG's maneuvers caused its ship to collide with a Philippine resupply boat. The task force called the action provocative, irresponsible, and illegal as it imperiled the safety of the crew of the boat. It added that another Philippine vessel was bumped by a Chinese maritime militia vessel while it was lying off Ayungin. The resupply mission to the BRP Sierra Madre is still ongoing. Now, some senators in foreign countries condemned China's latest aggression in the West Philippine Sea. Senator Francis Tolentino said that the incident was a proof of Beijing's disregard to the international law and basic maritime safety. Tolentino, who chairs the Senate Special Committee on Maritime and Admiralty Zones, also called for an investigation on the matter. Meanwhile, U.S. Ambassador to the Philippines, Mary Kay Carlson, condemned China's disruption in Ayungin. Carlson also shared her support to their allies in protecting sovereignty and in support of a free and open Indo-Pacific. And the Embassy of Canada in the Philippines described China's latest action as, quote, unjustified. It added that Beijing's acts of intimidation undermine safety, stability, and security across the region. We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. So watching One News Now, I'm Dani Laurel. The Interior Department gave a stern warning to incumbent officials running in the Barangay in Sangguniang Kabataan elections not to use the government social services to attract voters. The DILG National Barangay Operations Office said government social services like the Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino program and the food stamp program are off limits in the elections. The agency also reminds that vote selling and buying are not just monetary in nature but also includes false promises. The PNP has since urged the public to report incidents of vote buying and vote selling in their communities. The remains of Loretta Alacre, an overseas Filipino worker who died in the Israel-Hamas conflict, have arrived in her hometown. Rainiel Pawid has this report.
It was a sorrowful Sunday morning for the Alacre family as they fetched Loretta's remains in Silay Airport in Negros Occidental. Last October 7th, Loretta Alacre died on her way home in Tel Aviv after being shot by Hamas as the militant group launched its attack on Israel. Her remains will be brought to her residence in Cadiz after a day in the funeral home. The Alacre family has decided to hold Loretta's wake for 10 days.
Gusto po namin makasama yung kapatid namin kasi huling pagkikita na lang din namin sa kanya.
Loretta was supposed to go home for her 50th birthday and their family reunion in December.
Nagpapasalamat pa rin kami na nakakauwi siya sa amin kahit ganyan na. Kahit masakit sa amin magkapatid. Sana tulungan niya rin kaming matanggap namin na wala na siya.
For its part, the Office of the Overseas Workers Welfare Administration or OWA said it will give Loretta a hero's welcome. This, aside from the financial and the burial assistance for her family.
Magkakaroon po tayo ng hero's welcome bilang pagkilala sa kanyang sakripisyo na ibinigay hindi lamang sa kanyang pamilya, kundi ang kadakilaan na rin bilang isang OFW.
Loretta died with her Chinese national boyfriend and her friends who were also Chinese. She will be laid to rest on November 5th. For News 5, Rainiel Pawid, we are One News.
Now, India has allowed nearly 300,000 tons of rice shipments to some countries like the Philippines. New Delhi would supply at least 295,000 tons of non-basmati white rice to Manila. The staple would also be shipped to other countries like Nepal, Malaysia, and the Republic of Guinea, among others. India earlier banned overseas shipments of non-basmati white rice back in July, but it said it would still consider requests for supplies from vulnerable countries. One source from the Indian government said they are unlikely to consider any more requests for rice supplies until farmers gather their new season crop. And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us again tomorrow as we monitor the day's biggest stories. I'm Dani Laurel and we are One News.